with family. But in late November 2025, the Northeast and Midwest woke up to a completely different reality. Almost overnight, a calm autumn morning was swallowed by a storm system so intense it felt as if winter had skipped the line entirely. What began as harmless flurries erupted into towering 20-inch lake-effect snow walls, 68-mile-per-hour wind blasts, and highways transformed into frozen disaster zones stretching for miles. Drivers on Interstate 90 watched the world vanish in front of them as visibility collapsed to zero. Cars smashed into each other, semi-trucks jackknifed across lanes, and emergency crews battled blinding whiteouts just to reach the injured. In New York City, just 1.9 inches of snow sent commuters slipping down icy steps and flooded hospital emergency rooms with broken bones and head injuries. Meanwhile, in Buffalo and Cleveland, residents faced a whiteout fury that felt almost personal, like the sky had opened and aimed its full blizzard firepower at entire counties. Families packing suitcases for Thanksgiving dinner suddenly found themselves stranded in airports, trapped in traffic for hours, or forced to abandon vehicles buried beneath snowbanks taller than a pickup truck. This wasn't just a storm. It was a warning, proof that winter in America is changing, arriving earlier, striking harder, and exposing how unprepared even our biggest cities can be when the season turns dangerous without notice. Welcome to the Thanksgiving snowstorm that pushed New York and Ohio to the edge. A storm that rewrote travel plans, shut down interstates, overwhelmed hospitals, sparked lawsuits, and revealed just how fragile life becomes when winter decides to strike first. Winter didn't just arrive in Buffalo, it detonated over the city. As cold Arctic air swept across the warmer waters of Lake Erie, it triggered one of the most aggressive lake-effect snowstorms of the season. Between November 26th and 28th, western New York was slammed by snowbands so dense they carved walls of white across Erie and Chautauqua counties. Meteorologists warned that the setup was perfect for maximum intensity, and they were right. In just hours, Buffalo Niagara International Airport recorded wind gusts up to 68 miles per hour, strong enough to knock down tree limbs, toss trash bins across streets, and whip snow into blinding spirals that made it impossible to see more than a few feet ahead. Entire neighborhoods vanished behind curtains of snowfall as rapid accumulations reached 9 inches in the hardest-hit zones, with drifts piling even higher in exposed areas. Interstate 90, the region's main artery, became a frozen gauntlet. Visibility dropped to near zero, forcing drivers to crawl or stop entirely. But slowing down wasn't enough. Reports of multi-vehicle pileups echoed across police radios as dozens of cars and trucks collided, sliding sideways across lanes or spinning into ditches as the storm intensified. Photos captured a nightmare: twisted bumpers, crushed vehicles stacked at angles, and headlights flickering through a white fog so thick it erased the horizon. First responders pushed through whiteouts and howling winds, moving car to car to rescue stranded passengers. In residential neighborhoods, life halted. Driveways disappeared. Cars were swallowed under mounds of drifting snow. Residents watched from their windows as the storm hammered their streets with the raw force Buffalo is infamous for. Officials urged everyone to stay indoors as plow crews struggled to keep up, new snow instantly replacing whatever had just been cleared. By the end, Buffalo wasn't just blanketed, it was locked down. Flights were canceled, schools closed, and thousands of Thanksgiving travelers abandoned or delayed their plans. Once again, the storm proved why Great Lakes lake-effect events are among America's fiercest winter phenomena. When warm lake water meets Arctic winds, it takes only hours to transform an entire city into a whiteout battlefield. Look at that. While Buffalo endured snow walls, New York City faced a very different kind of storm, one that barely showed up on radar but proved catastrophic once it touched the ground. During the final weeks of November, New York City recorded just 1.9 inches of snow, barely enough to cover a parked car. But in a city of 8 million, even a thin layer can unleash chaos when it arrives early in the season. Temperatures dipped into the 50s, several degrees below normal, leaving streets, sidewalks, and subway entrances coated in thin, almost invisible layers of slush and black ice. Commuters rushing through Manhattan discovered too late that the season's first freeze is always the most treacherous. People slipped on marble building steps, business entryways, and untreated sidewalks. Delivery drivers lost their footing on brownstone staircases. Tourists fell on icy crosswalks they assumed were just wet. Even NYC felt the ripple effect as LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark suffered cascading delays from grounded Midwest flights. Rail travel sagged too. Amtrak trains rolled in hours late after encountering snow-covered tracks and frozen switches across upstate New York and northern Ohio. Subway entrances and elevated platforms in NYC remain dangerous, slowed by sheets of refrozen slush. By the storm's peak, the entire region was locked in a transportation chokehold, highways frozen, airports jammed, rail lines strained. What started as an early winter storm had escalated into a full-scale mobility crisis, leaving tens of thousands stranded and proving once again how easily modern infrastructure can be overwhelmed by nature's raw force. Beyond the frozen highways and shuttered airports, the storm delivered its hardest blow to the people caught in its path. In NYC, even with just 1.9 inches on the ground, hospitals were overwhelmed within hours as residents slipped on icy sidewalks, marble steps, and untreated subway entrances. Emergency rooms filled with broken wrists, fractured hips, concussions, and spinal injuries, many from older adults stepping outside for groceries or work. Upstate, conditions were even more severe. Buffalo victims from multi-vehicle pileups arrived with trauma injuries, deep lacerations, and early hypothermia after being stranded during whiteouts. Ohio faced the same. Cleveland Hospital saw a surge of crash injuries as near-zero visibility and black ice turned daily commutes into life-threatening ordeals. But the human toll extended beyond medicine. The storm triggered legal battles as property owners faced lawsuits for failing to clear sidewalks, an obligation many ignored, thinking the season's first snow wouldn't matter. NYC law firms reported non-stop calls from clients seeking compensation. The emotional toll rippled through families preparing for Thanksgiving. Travelers slept in terminals. Parents panicked over loved ones stranded on frozen highways. Holiday plans collapsed in hours. For many, the storm was a harsh reminder. The first winter event is often the most dangerous, not because it's the biggest, but because no one is ready. As the last snowflakes settled, one truth became clear. The November 2025 storm wasn't just an early taste of winter. It was a message. A message carved into 20-inch drifts, frozen highways, shuttered airports, and the echoes of sirens cutting through whiteout winds. Winter doesn't wait for calendars. It doesn't care about Thanksgiving plans, airline schedules, or morning commutes. When Arctic air collides with warm lake waters and visibility drops from clear to zero in seconds, daily life can shatter without warning. But amid the chaos, we saw something deeply American: resilience. Neighbors digging out each other's cars, strangers sharing blankets and stalled vehicles, first responders braving deadly conditions to rescue drivers trapped, families opening their homes to friends who couldn't travel. Winter tested these communities, and they pushed back. Yet the storm also exposed cracks. Aging infrastructure, underfunded snow removal, overwhelmed emergency departments, and ongoing disputes over sidewalk safety. If this was only winter's opening act, the months ahead demand preparation, awareness, and a renewed respect for early season storms. As we head deeper into winter, remember this. The next storm may not give a warning. The next whiteout may arrive faster than we expect. And the choices we make now, clearing sidewalks, winterizing vehicles, staying alert to weather advisories, will determine how safely we navigate the months ahead. Thank you for watching and staying informed. If this report was valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real-time extreme weather coverage. And tell us in the comments, do you think storms like this are becoming the new normal in America? Or was this just a brutal reminder of how unpredictable winter can be? Stay safe, stay prepared, and stay warm. Winter has only just begun.